Oh yeah.
And this is the one discussion that I will be keeping my phone not on silent, just so you can hear it.
Okay.
Because I love the noise it makes.
Alright, people in the chat, this is when you get to be my test subjects. How is the audio? How is the video?
I want one now.
I knew
I
it.
have two.
I knew it.
Oh, send me one.
You're... Damn
I
it.
may.
You can't see my video.
Maybe it's a wedding present.
I don't know if you can see my video, but I burnt my sonic screwdriver too.
The one you're smoking with?
One I'm smoking with and the one I'm playing with. So I got my sonic screwdriver and my sonic vapor driver.
Nice.
Yes, I'll take the sonic screwdriver as a wedding present. Since he already has one.
Maybe.
Have we got confirmation for Nicola? Is she around?
I sent the invitation. I'd added her to the chat.
And because we're talking Doctor Who, I am going low red fucking sound effects tonight. I got a little sound. Nice. I got a MIDI soundboard. Just waiting for Nicola to show up. But this is a good
tweet me so my phone to go off.
Nicola.
Yeah, thank you for getting that reference. So I was toying with bringing down a ton of stuff because basically my entire room is all Doctor Who. But I thought for the one thing I'm going to show off, it is this. This is the program from The Ultimate Adventure. This was the musical live show that they did in 1993, maybe, that I went to as a little baby.
Oh, nice.
So it's like, it was basically the first crossover with the Daleks and the Cybermen, and it was a musical. See if I can find a decent picture. It's like,
why am I learning this now?
Yeah.
Oh,
John Pertwee as well. He was supposed to show up behind the stage to chat with everybody, but unfortunately, because he was a fairly old man at the time, he was just a bit worn out and wasn't that into it. So, yeah, that was one of the villain outfits. I have zero.
I've never even heard of this.
Yeah, there's a reason. It was a musical. Do you need to know anything more about it?
Oh, I'd like to hear everything about it.
I don't remember anything else.
You seem to be the expert on this. Susie's going crazy right now.
I'm preventing myself from jumping up and down.
I'm sure they were not singing Cybermen, sadly, although that would have been awesome. But there was they were using all the props from Silver Nemesis, the very last Cyberman story of the classic show, and there was all there were Dalek props made just for this. It's very hard to see on the stream, so apologies about that. But yeah, there was so the Daleks actually got inside the TARDIS and everything at one point, and there's all a musical number involving this cantina-style bar and everything. But I very barely remember it.
Somebody tweeted.
What the fuck?
That's not going to get old.
Oh, hi, Susie.
Oh, hi, Nick. How you doing?
Alright, Dennis, for some reason your camera has just been shut off.
Happy birthday.
For some reason your camera just got shut off.
Oh.
My camera's on?
Okay.
But yes, I decided to show up in costume tonight, so
You lucky bastard.
Alright.
Which was very cool. Yeah. I've got my Slytherin tie.
There you go.
Can't really see. I've got the long hair out for once instead of ponytail, so yes. So it's almost an 8th Doctor vibe.
A vicious hairdresser took my ponytail off yesterday.
Oh, there we go, it's back.
That's me.
Yes, but
I
Nicola,
wasn't very
as
pleased
you're
about it.
so welly hinting... Okay, let me change my shot here. As you're so much hinting, happy birthday. Is there like an official Irish freaking birthday song, or do we have to just sing the copyright freaking song?
No, please don't. I really don't like that song. But I will tell you, I got the
It's your birthday.
most adorable little birthday
do,
cake this
do.
year.
Aw.
Well, I didn't get an official birthday cake because I'm too fucking old for that shit now.
Oh,
Never
But-
old for cake.
agreed.
When I was up in my mother's house on Thursday, we'd just collected my niece and cousins Wayne from school. They're both 4. And my mum was whispering to them and took them over to the kitchen. And I looked up from my phone, and there was the 2 of them holding a jammy dodger between them. A jammy dodger with
Oh.
a candle in it. And they
Oh.
came over to me singing Happy
that's
Birthday.
cute.
Oh, that is cute.
And then Sophie. So, yeah. 2 4-year-olds coming over to me with a flaming jammy dodger singing Happy Birthday.
Oh,
Explain what a jammy
Adorable.
for all us Yanks. What is a jammy dodger?
A jammy dodger is a little biscuit that's just a little biscuity base, a dollop of jam, and a biscuity top with a little heart on top of it.
it's a TARDIS
Literally,
self-destruct.
That says it's a
So,
little tart.
so Nicola, I know you're a huge Doctor Who fan, so you get a little present tonight, being able to just talk Doctor Who and give your predictions on what do you think is going to happen on the 50th.
I know fuck all about Doctor Who.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to be the straw man for this conversation.
Wow,
am
that's going to be a
sure.
change.
Okay.
I started watching the revamp and I got to Tennant and then I just kind of stopped watching. I'd never really had an inclination to chase them up. I do attribute it to my fear of statues now, so yeah.
Really?
I
Great.
shit you not. I was down in our town once and a fella went past with a pickup. Now pickups are unusual here, so that caught my attention. But in the back seat was a statue of an angel like this.
Oh, God. That would freak anyone out.
I,
Freaked
Nice.
me out.
I'm gonna.
Needless to say, I didn't stop staring at it until it was out of view.
I'm gonna say this. My mind's blown. I am blown that you are not in any way a Doctor Who fan because I figured you, just knowing who your sister-in-law is, I figured you would be like a diehard or at least,
No,
or at least been
just
thrown in, or at
something
least
that
thrown
never
into the conversation so many times you somewhat know what's going on.
I know bits and pieces, but I'm not a Whovian. I'm not a big fan.
Right. So if
Well,
I start
thankfully we've got
hitting,
me.
so if I hit things like this, you have no idea what's going on.
I will, however, admit that I have been listening to radio show, but I think I may lose points for it when I say that it's Doctor Hooves.
I don't even know what that is, so you're safe for me.
The pony.
Oh,
I've seen
okay.
them. They're not awful.
You know, Doctor Who and ponies work well.
Actually, it's a very well done
it's
radio
well
drama.
animated. Radio drama?
I mean, come on, we're talking about the same
Oh,
show.
it's on
We're-
YouTube.
I mean, come on. Can
It's
I
on
really
YouTube.
at
It's an
this
audio drama.
honestly at this point? Can I really make fun of fucking ponies? Can I really make fun of bronies? Because Jesus Christ, I have fucking Doctor Who snarf.
Well, the thing is, there's been a lot of people who be going, I'm so excited for November, that whatever the date it is. And I'll just turn to them and say, I didn't realise you were looking forward to the first episode of season 4 of My Little Pony. It's the same day.
Oh, wow.
Well, we got Dennis. We got Dennis all dressed up in his Doctor Who costume. We got Susie playing playing the companion. We got me just rocking out the hardcore fucking Time Lord shirt, courtesy of my in-laws.
Yes.
So, guys, I know we all saw the freaking sneak fucking prequel 6 minutes short earlier this week.
Perfection.
Yeah.
Dennis, what did you have to say about it? What is your thoughts, your predictions?
Well, I saw it I only saw it when I got in from work in the evening because in the afternoon during like my lunch break I checked Twitter and Twitter had exploded, and I basically tweeted something along the lines of, "It looks like Jesus and Elvis have been caught kissing on camera or dancing or something, and I don't get to watch it for another 5 hours."
I know the feeling. I actually, I
Yeah,
was,
but
I
it's
just,
Okay.
Dennis, I could literally say this. I just walked into work when I saw the tweet come out from the BBC Doctor Who Twitter, and I went, all right, it's just another 50th Fit trailer, big deal. Then I saw Nash, Diamana Hagen, Phalis, three or four other people just explode on Twitter, and I went, all right, what the fuck just happened? So I actually clicked the link. I actually snuck into the bathroom at work, clicked the link, and watched it on my fucking cell phone just to see what the hell everyone was talking about.
Well, the thing is, I mean, I do have an iPhone and everything, and I could have used my data, but I'm cheap. But and the signal wouldn't have been that good, and it was worth the wait to sit down and watch it. When I say perfect, I don't want to gush about it too much because I will talk for 3 hours just about that, what we've just seen. It's like you said, it legitimizes everything that Paul McGann's done over the past nearly 10 years. I mean, he was in the TV movie in 96, 97, but the Big Finish stuff that he did, the audio dramas.
Yeah, that's the thing
they've
with
been
that's the
going
thing with the
for
Eighth Doctor,
years.
Dennis.
Yeah.
That's the thing with the Eighth Doctor. He
damn
like kind of
good.
showed up only for that Made for America TV series that basically got buried, that went nowhere. And honestly, that fucking film is church. It's just a tragedy of freaking the story of Doctor Who because it
is.
fucked up everything, and it's an American thing. It is the
But
Americans.
he was fantastic in it.
Oh, he was amazing as a doctor, and it was great
mean,
seeing. What was it? Was that Baker or Colin?
You mean Sylvester McCoy?
McCoy. Sorry, I always get
Yeah, it's cool, it's cool.
six through eight, and 5 through 7. I always get confused.
Mm-hmm.
But him regenerating legitimized it for British audiences, and then of course the American audiences went in and fucked it up. The American studio. Yes, I'm talking to you, Fox. You fucked it up. You had to throw in all
never
this
do anything
freaking info that would appeal to the American audiences because we're stupid. We're yeehaw fucking white trash, and we're not gonna understand this fucking British stuff. So they
What
had
did
to
the
change
Fox
all
do?
this shit.
They done fucked it up.
Yeah, they fucked up the story, but honestly, I don't want to get his name wrong. McGinn?
Paul McGann?
McGann.
Yeah.
McGann.
He's basically
he's
part
amazing.
of a big acting family. They're like the Baldwins, almost.
Yeah, I thought he did an amazing job in that one film. I only listened to one or two of the audio dramas, and I've only, I think I've heard a book on, like an audio book of one of the stories. So I'm not a big expert on his stuff, but I've heard a lot of fucked up shit happen in his time frame. I heard that guy couldn't hold a companion for fucking more than a week.
Well, I'm trying to
Okay.
catch up on the audio stuff. Like I posted in the chat before, they've got an offer on at the moment where you can download most of the stories for about $4.99, which I think is a bit much for something that came out in 2007.
Yeah, it should be like $1.99 if not.
You know, yeah, but they're still damn good. You know, solid.
Because
Until you
if I'm
can
right,
afford them.
the Eighth Doctor went through what, almost 7 companions in his audio series.
Pretty much, although for me personally, I've not listened to any of the stories where they leave.
I don't
However
think they
they leave,
leave. I
so-
think they've been like.
Well, let's say depart. So,
Because-
but yeah, Paul McGann, superb actor. I mean, you give him utter shit to work with, and he still turns out a fantastic performance.
Yeah.
He's just been trapped in limbo because he's on the tail end of this classic series. Because until Sylvester McCoy finished in about 87, 89, the show had, ever since it started in 1963, this show has been out every single year since 1963, all the way up until Sylvester McCoy's run, Paul McGann was stuck in this really awkward dead space where they tried to bring the series back. The film was a backdoor pilot that didn't take off because it was fucking awful.
Because the Fox producers stuck their fucking head in and said, we want all this stuff changed. And why the fuck was Eric Roberts? Is it Eric Roberts?
Eric Roberts is the master.
Why? I mean, I can
master.
understand because he regenerates, so it makes sense that he would
wants
be...
to dress for the occasion.
Okay, he did obviously watch the originals and kind of took a little bit from the original master in that one, but
No.
but his
in my head
his flamboyantness of how he played it, I could see he did watch some of the original masters. But if I remember, maybe if I'm wrong because I'm not an expert on the classic Doctor Who, I'm not an expert on classic Doctor Who, but didn't we leave off with the master basically being skinless?
That was during Tom Baker's era. Yeah, the thing is with the Master is he's been killed off a lot of times and he keeps coming back because people like to bring him back, basically.
Yeah, he's the ultimate villain.
At one point, it's like in Peter Davidson's run, The Fifth Doctor. At one point, he was locked in the middle of a parallel dimension that was literally dying. This entire universe was collapsing on itself and he was in the middle of it. And yet he shows up again later on. It's, TV, what can you do?
Yeah.
But, he was quite simply the worst possible choice for that character. But, whatever. Johnson
but
did
think
an
about
okay
it. But
job.
if you think about it in the time frame that it came out, what was it? 1991.
The TV movie, 96.
96. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm bad with freaking remembering these things.
I'm a nerd.
Yes. That's why I have you guys on. You legitimize me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the time, Eric Roberts was actually kind of a somewhat big celebrity, or at least a good B-grade celebrity.
Well, his sister was, yeah.
No, he did like Best of the Best at that point. He was doing like a lot of martial arts films.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
So he
I've
was
seen
kind of an
cameo
up and comer
bits,
at the
yeah.
time. He was an up and comer, so I could see why they would want to put him in there. I would love to know, was he a fan of the series? Did he ask to be in it? Or did
I
Fox
don't
go,
think
all right,
so.
we have a contract to fill, and, all right, hey, Eric, do you want to you want to put in some freaking snake eyes and fucking play the master?
Pretty much, yeah. They just wanted a name actor, and that's the thing. They wanted all name actors and everything. And I mean, you had one or two people who were recognised, like later on. It's like you have a guy from Less Than Perfect, the big bald mortician dude. I've seen him in a few American sitcoms and everything. But yeah, at the end of the day, it wasn't the worst it could have been. It wasn't Dimensions in Time. And anybody who's confused about what that is, or the TV movie with Paul McGann, I'm assuming everyone here knows who Nash is. If you so.
No, I have no idea who that guy
Who is
on Monday
this
night
Nash
is
fellow?
that does something very
Yeah.
similar to me. Who is he? Explain him to me.
No, he's kind of ripping you off in a way, but it's like I think he's got a bigger budget or something. But
Yeah.
no, but Nash did
And a hell of a lot better
wonderful
computer.
job of Doctor Who. Yeah, I mean he was running 2 copies of Skyrim at the same time with no lag. That was impressive. But yeah. Nash is What the Fuck Is Wrong With You with Nella, from Team Nostalgia Chick. They did the whole thing about some of the classic bits of Doctor Who and all this stuff is mentioned. Dimensions
Yeah.
in Time, worst thing to ever happen to Doctor Who ever.
And I think they showed up in, I can't remember the bar. It's a bar in Queens where actually.
And I watched it as a child live. I was there in the sofa. I had 3D glasses on.
Wow.
So you know you're
We will
you're
never
a
forget.
doctor. So you know you're a doctor. I gotta ask. How big was your dick when you fucking when it panned that from that lower pan and panned up and you just saw him again? He was just like, I'm a doctor, but not the kind you think.
I think I broke the table. It was beautiful. It was perfect. It was he got the character perfect because he has been the Doctor for nearly 10 years now. because he's been doing the audio stuff. The character, he's got it down perfect. When you sometimes have an actor who hasn't done a role for a while, it kind of looks like they're almost phoning it in. I mean, we've had Peter Davidson come back, the Fifth Doctor, for that brief crossover with David Tennant, and he nailed it too. It's like there was nothing to complain about. They did everything right. Everything was spot on, perfect. The new costume and everything, merging the audio stuff with the Time War and everything. It was just fucking perfect. Don't know what else to say really, except it's like I now need to spend a small fortune on all the audio CDs because I need to catch up and everything, and so do all of you. Sorry.
Never.
And I'm actually, quote me if I'm wrong, but I believe on Amazon and BBC Audio or whatever, any place that sells those 8 Doctor freaking audio plays, I believe the market, those fucking videos skyrocketed within minutes of that thing airing.
I can believe it. I can definitely.
I don't know if that's a true statement, but I've heard rumors that the fucking downloads on those audio dramas basically tripled within minutes of him showing up on that fucking short on YouTube and on BBC DoctorWho.com.
Yeah,
and I can't blame him. I mean, I would be the same way because if I wasn't, I'm a new Who. I'm a new Whoer.
Yeah.
But I am a little bit educated in the classics. I watch a few classics, but I don't watch a lot. Just because it's a shit ton of stuff to watch and get through.
50 years.
You can't get through 50 years in time. And honestly, other than Colin Baker, I really couldn't care less. Most of the other Doctors just kind of seem a little stale for me.
No.
But
at the end of the day,
but
show...
I do know the 8th Doctor. I do know the 8th Doctor. I know the movie, and I'm thinking just as like a fan for the new Who series. If I wasn't somewhat educated in old Who and I never knew who this guy was, I would be questioning because he always appears whenever they show montages of the old Doctors. His face always appears, but you can never find a TV series on him. You can never find a Doctor Who series on the guy. So I would be curious about him too.
Yeah, well, like I say, I'm quote-unquote the expert for tonight, so, I kind of know him inside out and everything, but I'm curious about the ladies, what they thought.
Yeah, me too. Good point.
Let's hear the ladies talk.
Thanks for the transition.
Too much for Sausage Fest.
Yes. Let the male fucking sonic screwdriver go down for a bit, and let's talk to the TARDIS. Susie, I know you're just getting into Doctor Who, but I know you saw the little short film. What did you think?
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Having been shown the Doctor Who movie by you, which was utterly stupid, but Paul McGann was absolutely. He was the Doctor, and I absolutely loved him in it. It made me. Quick, let me jump in the toilet.
Blame yourself. You bought me the toy.
Really? Are we really going to have a soundboard going here?
I think we might.
Susie bought me this little gadget for my birthday. All right.
No, I bought it 2 Christmases ago. But. Yeah, I really, really, really loved it. As a lot of people will know from my tweet marathon, I'm having a Doctor Who marathon of the new Who's because up until February this year, I had never seen one. Or tell a lie, I'd seen them, but I hadn't really been getting into them. And then I decided, right, okay, I need to see what the fuss is about. And then I sat down and watched one, and I was hooked immediately. So I've been watching them constantly, and then finding out the 50th is on. I've got to work my way through the rest of them.
Which was the one that got you hooked? What was your first episode?
Well, I just started off with the very first Christopher Eccleston one.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I had been shown a couple of Tennant ones. I'd seen a couple of Tennant episodes, and I thought, I love David Tennant. I'll give it a go, because I think he's a fucking phenomenal actor.
Oh, he is.
Oh, I love David Tennant to death, and I just thought
Hmm.
he's the Doctor. I love him as it is, so I'll give him a chance. And I thought, okay, if I'm going to do this properly, I have to start with Eccleston,
Hmm.
just to see what it's like. And then I watched the first episode, and I just thought, next, got the popcorn. I'm sitting here. This is amazing. Why the hell did I not start watching it?
Okay,
I
honey, seeing how you're brand new to Doctor Who, I have to ask, what was your first reaction when you saw the Daleks in the Chris Eccleston Daleks?
Can I just say, before you answer, I love the way you pronounce Dalek. The Daleks.
I'm sorry, I have a heavy New York accent.
Hey, he's walking here. Come on. Moving on.
The Daleks, the first time I saw them, I had a joke in my head about, I can't remember which comedian said it, but he just made a wisecrack about how nobody realised the Daleks could never get up the stairs, so why don't they just run upstairs and then they'd avoid them? And and stop it! And the first time I saw them, I just thought, is that it? A moving trash can with a plunger, is that it? Okay. And then they started. I think the first time I was actually, oh god, these are cool, was when they actually flew up the stairs. And that, I can't remember what the episode was, but that was just a...
Dalek, basically, the very first one.
Oh, that's right. But
And
that
the cool thing about that is that, sorry to talk over you, lady. The cool thing I loved about that is they went out of the way to address all the issues that people thought, well, this is a bit of a daft idea. You know, how are you supposed to be afraid of this?
Yeah.
And they basically addressed every single one of them. And the beauty of the Daleks, because I'm more of a Dalek fan than a Doctor Who fan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's the malice and the fact that it's not chasing after them really fast. It's really going slow and it's taking its time because it wants them to suffer and to be afraid because it hates them.
Mm-hmm. But just that episode just made me thought, oh crap, you don't mess with them. I will say my from the enemies that I've seen, I think the Weeping Angels are my favourite because they're fucking creepy as hell.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the Weeping Angels.
I
I
love
actually
the
played
Weeping
a
Angels.
Weeping Angel mod on Minecraft, and it freaked me the fuck out.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be rare spawns, but they were just fucking everywhere. Ended up trapped in my own house with a Weeping Angel. I was like, nope, turning the game off.
But it's so creepy. Just this innocent looking thing at first, just this inanimate object that you wouldn't suspect would kill you if you turned your back on it. I love the Weeping Angels.
And that's the best thing about Doctor Who in general. What they've done since day one is they take the ordinary and they make it terrifying.
Oh god,
You know,
yeah.
because a police telephone box back in 1963, that was an ordinary thing that you'd see on the street corner. You know, and the anything from say little toy dolls. I mean, there was one episode with the Autons, the very first villain in the Christopher Eccleston thing. You know, the shot dummies and everything. There was there was a toy doll that came to life and murdered people, and there was this one person who was eaten by a chair.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah, but
that.
Susie was talking about the Weeping Angels. The thing I find always funny about the Weeping Angels is, one, they're a great villain. They're amazingly well written. They are the Daleks of this generation. They were not supposed to be a main villain. They were actually supposed to be just a one-off episode. Hell, the episode they debuted in was actually considered a Dr. Light episode. Because I think they were filming the Christmas special at the same time. So people who don't know how the filming schedule for Doctor Who is, they have to pump these episodes out so fast that they have to do episodes that are called Dr. Light, where they basically just have it revolving around the Doctor, but the Doctor himself doesn't have to actually show up much in the episode. And the original Weeping Angels was a Dr. Light episode, which usually don't do nothing. They never get any ratings. They never most people don't really care about the Dr. Light episodes. But this one created the icon, the Daleks of this generation.
So somebody just did spoilers in the chat there. I was like, I'm still on the
Spoilers.
Yes, there will
I'm
be
still
spoilers.
on the Amy and Rory episodes. TARDIS, go away! Okay, I'm gonna put this on silent now.
We did warn you.
I know. I think it's cool having a
But yeah,
TARDIS.
no spoilers in the chat. You know, you can spoil anything that isn't a Matt Smith episode,
Yes.
Yeah.
unless
I'm
people
still
in the chat want to watch it.
Unless you were watching,
Yeah.
unless you were watching this on the replay on the YouTube channel, and then spoil away,
Yes, you can.
and like,
Only
comment, and
90
subscribe.
episodes ago.
But yeah, I think it's been because I went to Cleveland to see my ex recently, and we were I sat her down because her girlfriend wanted her to see a Christopher Eccleston episode, so I chose the first half of the season finale. You know, the whole Big Brother thing, reality TV, and I hadn't watched it in a few years, and it's like. Now, Susie, you've seen all this stuff together really recently,
Yeah.
but since 2005, the show has changed. You know, it adjusts itself. You know, it like reinvents itself every year or so, and it's like we can't. You know, it's very easy to say, "Oh, that the early stuff was rubbish." You know, you don't need to see, say, Christopher Eccleston and all that because it isn't really relevant to what's going on now, and so on and so forth. However, Christopher Eccleston's run was really good. It's a very different kind of show, but he is fantastic. And never mind Paul McGann being the one who's left out in the cold. It's getting to the point where people are just disregarding all of Christopher Eccleston's stuff because he only did the one season.
Yeah.
Out of all the actors, he's done the least, but he was fantastic.
Yeah,
No
you-
pun intended.
Eccleston was
That's
good,
like
and I'm gonna say that Eccleston was actually the doctor that I first got introduced to. My love of Doctor Who came from a very weird area. I was working on a other podcast at the time, and we were having a certain internet reviewer who was considered a fanatic of Doctor Who on, and comic books and Power Rangers and several other things on a very major website. So I had no idea what to fucking talk to this guy about. So I decided, I knew he was a Doctor Who fan, so I figured I would watch a couple of the episodes on Netflix just to give me an idea what the hell Doctor Who was. So I could have something to talk about. Just something that I could relate to this conversation to. And I started watching the first 2 episodes of Eccleston's freaking run in the revamp, and I just fell in love with the show. I fell in love with it. I literally burned through Eccleston's freaking entire season literally within 3 days. And the funny thing is, Doctor Who never even really came up in the fucking podcast, but it's it stuck with me, and I became a lifelong fan. So I ended up just watching it regularly, freaking going. I'm even at the point where I'm watching classic Who now. But Eccleston, I think a lot of the thing that makes Eccleston a little less Whoviant, if that's the term, Whoviant. I think the reason Eccleston is a little more not quite as talked about as much as Tennant or Matt Smith is. I think the bad blood between freaking Eccleston and what's it, Davis?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about the behind the scenes stuff and everything, but
I don't know much, but I know that Eccleston and Davis did not get along. But
I'm going to say something about what Elizabeth has just put in the chat in a minute or two. But yeah, in regards to Eccleston and Davis, the thing is with Davis, Russell T Davis, he has gone on record saying he didn't make the Doctor Who he wanted to make for the most part. because he's been a lifelong fan of Doctor Who, and when he got the job, he was overjoyed. But instead of doing what he wanted to do, he made the series which he thought would be successful, and he
Yeah.
did the job. It's so
Am
I
I
don't
on,
know.
all right? Maybe this is just me. Maybe because I'm a Buffy fan, I'm an Angel fan, I'm a Joss Whedon fan.
Hmm,
Am I the one who
yeah,
kind of had this feeling that the first season of Doctor Who, the Eccleston years, was basically a British kind of like they were trying too hard to go for a Buffy feeling?
they were. I've seen that in interviews. He was like he referenced Joss Whedon stuff and everything. He wanted to be the next Joss Whedon, pretty much.
I think he done it. Honestly, that's why
Yeah.
I actually fell in love with Doctor Who because I'm a huge Buffy and Angel and Firefly and Joss Whedon fan. And when I
Mm.
first watched the first season of Doctor Who or the revamped season of Doctor Who, I
Mm.
fell in love with the storytelling because it reminded me so much of like how they would do story arcs in freaking Buffy.
Mm. Yeah.
But I
Yes.
know Eccleston.
That whole thing. Yeah.
Eccleston did say I know several times, and I don't have any quotes or any notes up, but I know he did basically say the only reason he actually took the job or took the spot for playing the Doctor was because he heard Davis was actually doing it, and I guess
Hmm.
Eccleston was a big fan of some previous show that Davis did.
Davis has done quite a few things. I mean, I can't remember much of them off at the top of my head now. But I mean, it's like early 2000s. He was a really popularizing, producer. We did mainly, dramas and, like I think there was like a romantic comedy or something with Alan Davis, who people thought should be Doctor Who at one point. I don't know if anyone knows who Alan Davis is. He's the guy on QI who gets everything wrong.
Oh,
I think he would make a very quirky Doctor Who.
Have any of you seen Jonathan Creek?
yes.
That is what we got instead of Doctor Who for about 10 years, and that was fine.
Yeah, because I can remember one of the films I watched where they pushed a Dalek onto her coat
Hmm.
and then bolted while it was
Yeah, the
spazzing
Peter
out.
Cushing movies. Technically not canon, but they are remakes of the original TV episodes from 1963. Yeah, the Daleks originally were like the Weeping Angels. They were just a one-shot character. They weren't supposed to be recurring or anything. If anything, I think the Daleks were the very first sci-fi story. Because originally Doctor Who was supposed to be edutainment, because it was mainly supposed to be historical stuff. And every now and then they do like a sci-fi what-if thing. Things change. But yeah, the very first time the Daleks were introduced, they were survivors of this war between these two different races, the Thals and the Dals. And the Thals basically, they were the people who went out into the wilderness. They survived. They relied on their natural gifts, and they basically got through everything. The Daleks were the race that relied on their technology, and they cannibalized themselves, and they regressed, and so on. And like I say, later on in the series, the origin story changed a bit to go with like introducing Davros and all this other stuff. But the original Daleks were bound to the city. They couldn't go outside the city or anything. They were the machines they were in were powered through the floor, like bumper cars, Dodgems, and all that. I know, 1960s. Come on, 1963.
Yeah, I suppose.
To say that design. Raymond Cusick, who sadly died about 2 or 3 years ago. The original designer, his original design in 1963 has remained pretty much unchanged until the Power Ranger Daleks. And as a designer, as an artist, I wanted to cut my hands off and claw my eyes out.
Wow.
And can I just say before, I know, again, I could talk forever and I don't want to, but the guy who did the concept art if you actually look at the original concept designs, it looks fine. It's like whoever took his sketches and actually made the model. Oh God, I think the best quote ever is like a Dalek shagged a Punto, which is a type of car.
Well,
and it is.
Well, you're actually, it's funny. Before we go into the predictions for the 50th, I read something interesting this week. I guess this is blowing up in England, but it didn't really hit American news. The grandson or the son of the guy who actually came up with the concept and the design of the TARDIS is actually trying to sue for back royalties.
Really?
Yeah, I guess even though
in the TV show or the actual police box?
The guy who created the idea to make the TARDIS look like a police box. Even though he received like a royalty payments up into his death, I guess now the son is trying to sue, saying that actually BBC owes his family and his next of kin royalties because of the design, which is completely freaking. I always hate it when I have to go into lawyer terms because I never know how to word this right. I'm a fucking uneducated fucking Yankee fucking chef. But I guess he's trying to sue he's suing the BBC for using images of his father. Well past, even though BBC paid like the royalties to his father up into his father's death. Once this man died, I guess BBC stopped payments, and now the son is trying to sue BBC to get payments. Basically, he's trying to sue to get to continue the royalties to his for him, because he's saying that because his father created the image that he deserves it.
So is this like the interior of the TARDIS? Basically
exterior. The guy who came up with the idea just to say, "Hey, let's use a police box."
Unless I must be mistaken. I always assumed it was like they just had the prop and they were like, well, we can't, because the idea was it's supposed to change to match in with the environment, but they thought, screw it, let's just use the same prop. It's easier.
Yeah, it was just
cheaper.
I
think the canon story was that the camouflage thing got busted and they never got around to fixing it.
Yeah, that's it.
He's actually fixed it before in the show, but it's the same with like the engines and everything. The engines apparently aren't supposed to make that noise. He leaves the brakes on.
I remember hearing that.
I love that. Yeah, but it's like he likes it that way. He likes the old girl battered and a little bit clapped out. That's the way he likes it.
Well, it's basically his wife. Well, wasn't that?
Yeah,
wasn't that an episode? Actually, the Doctor's wife, where where it basically explained that that is his fucking oldest relationship. That's his love. That's anybody who watches that in a weird sense, guy, that goes, how can you have that love affair with your with a machine or with your TARDIS? Any man who's owned a car, any man who's had his original fucking, like that old beat up jalopy that you drove when you were in high school, you know that feeling.
I was going to say, you don't want to know what I do with this computer at night, G's.
Oh, trust me. You should see what me and Susie do with mine. But that's a good way to segue out.
Hey, Tony.
That's a great way to segue out, because for the sake of editing and the fact that I am getting tired of fucking waiting 2 days to freaking have a video edited, we're going to be splitting this into 2 parts. So everyone watching on YouTube right now, like, comment, and subscribe, and watch the next video where we actually give our predictions on the 50th anniversary. Night, everyone.